Yeah, welcome back. In this section, we are going to be going into how you could actually contribute to the Tech Clarity Coach. So let's go to the website itself. In the beginning, I've already show us around about everything that we have in this section. So we have the About page, we have the Heroes page, which actually give us different areas, people that are doing amazing things that other people can learn from without, because we know that mentoring is great, but having one-on-one mentors, the ratio of a lot of people to mentors is really small, which is not really scalable. I support mentors, I mentor a lot, but with heroes, they are always there. You can learn from them. I've learned from a lot of these people here from afar without even talking to them, read their blog, their tweets, what they're learning, and stuff like that. Sometimes buy their courses. So also we have the search. You can search the entire website, and also we have the main content here, which we can browse. Also, we have the introduction, where you can click any of these things and stuff like that. So, how can you make changes to all of this? So, the best first place to start is to go to here. If you click on this, it takes you to the GitHub page directly. And when you go to the GitHub page, you can see, yeah, here we have two contributors here already, and this project is actually deployed on Vercel. So, and to run it in locally is just to run pnpm install dependency and then pnpm.dev. But I think this should be updated a little bit because you need to also have pnpm install on your machine, because if you don't have pnpm install, it wouldn't work. So you could go to how to install, or you could just say install pnpm. So if we go there for any of the what you're using, really, it doesn't really matter. If you go to installation pnpm, uh, it's really easy for Windows users. You can use this to install. For different operating system, you can see all of these things, how to install using Callpack, using, you can even use npm install, just, which is the easiest because most people have npm already. So you can just do npm install global. So just come here, we say npm install global. So I already have npm install anyway. I'm just showing you this. I can do npm install global. So it's asking for permission and stuff like that. So, but I already have it installed, so I'm not going to go through this anymore anyway. Yeah. So, well, if you have it, you can use npm to actually use stories. There's different options. You can use Homebrew, Wingate, you can use Scoop, you can use Choco if you're on Windows. So, and after you have npm installed, that means you have Node, you have all of those set up on your machine anyway. So, yeah, and then after that, you can go to this place and you can copy the code. So it's open source, everything. We try to make everything open source. And we have a project here that is actually tied to this Tech Clarity Coach where we put all of our issues. If you open this, you can see there are a lot of volunteers working on the project. So, and we have some stuff on the timeline, some things that we want to add, contribute. Most of the things that are here are like promotional stuff uh, that we want to create to be able to get more people to use this. So, and also if you have like any issues, anything that we can improve on the website itself, you can also open an issue. And also, if you want to contribute, you can also open an issue to be able to like contribute. So, yeah, let's go back to the repository. And yeah, so on the repository, the last thing you want to do, next thing we are going to do is to clone this repository. So I'm just going to clone using HTTPS, which is okay. So that means you have to have Git account, you have to have Git install. So we assume we have all of those things. So I'll just do Git. Uh, I will put it in a different program folder. I'll name it sample. Uh, okay, sorry, because I didn't do that correctly. So it should be git clone. My apologies. Git clone, and clone this. That's good. CD sample. So you see into the sample, you can open this file now. You can see all of those files that we have here. And then if I open this code up in VS Code, we can see all of this. I'm going to just zoom this out so that we can see everything. So you can see currently what we have here is basically GitHub. So we have this Git stuff. I'm not sure that isn't. Yeah, this is some kind of screenshot. Yeah, from Nestra. Yeah, I'm not sure we're using this. This is from the initial deployment anyway. So we have the components here. Uh, so these components have some things in it. So you can create any kind of component really, and then use it inside of the project. So this is just to make we have one component at the moment, which is called Heroes card. I will go a little bit about this. This is what we use to display the cards for those heroes that you see earlier on. And also we have this data. So this data here have all of the content you see on the heroes data. So it's just a giant object. Right now everything is on the file because yeah, we don't have database. This is an open source project and free. Yeah, I don't want to spend money on databases and stuff. So if you're adding any heroes here, you just need to like copy this and put all of the information and then it will pick it up. So yeah, that heroes. And another thing we have here is basically the pages. So you can see all of the pages we have on the program, yeah, on their platform. They are here. All of these sections. We have these sections. I think we have like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight sections that we have in total. So all of these sections are in folder, and each of the content in each section is in here. You can see that everything is in MDX. So let's use like introduction for instance. So if you look at the introduction, uh, if I go here and then let me, okay, I think the best thing I should do is let me open this uh, locally, so that way it's much more better. So I'll just open the terminal. I'm using VS Code. You can use any ID you like, you are already using for coding. So I'll just say pnpm dev. So and if you also want to see, like, sorry, this is not where we are. Uh, that was my bad. So I'll go to terminal and say new terminal. Yeah, so that was uh, a demo I was doing in the webinar yesterday. The status, okay, now it's nothing commit, it's just a new file. It's okay, we're on the main. I can work on the main because yeah, I have the admin rights, but it's okay. But for you, you can work on the main anyway. You need to like clone and create a PR, a new branch to be able to make changes. But that's not what I'm doing right now. I just want to run it. So to run this, we are going to use, if you go to package.json, you can see to run, we have dev, next dev, to build, next build, to start, next start. So, but what you need all the time is the next dev because you don't need to do build because everything is built when you deploy. So when I do npm npm, yeah, it's expecting me of something. Pm what? Dev. Okay, so okay. Next dev npm dot dev. So what's happening here? Look at this. Oh, you see why it's happening? So I jumped the gun. So really, yeah. So when we do our initial, yeah, I love computers. When you get the error like that, you know that you've done something wrong. So when we did our initial cloning and then we come into this place, you can see there is still node package here. All of these libraries, for instance, won't work. Like if we go to the header component and stuff, you can see there's an error here because we don't have them in files and it can't load them. So that was my bad. I just need to do pnpm install. So to install all of these packages so that we can have it. Yeah, my bad. Okay, that's all done. You can see all of these dependency we are using Tailwind for styling and stuff, so which is really great. You can see it from here. So now you can see that all those files there is no red anymore. Everything is working fine. So now we can do a PMPM dev. So this happens all the time, just ahead of myself. So and then if I click this, we can open this in development right now, and then we can see the files that we are working on. Sorry, my computer is a little bit slow. So the development is actually really, really fast. It's just that my computer is really slow. So that's why this is happening. So while this load anyway, we can just go ahead and show you other part of the pages. So just like I said, it's compiling. So yeah, I've shown you the data, the components and stuff. And then we have pages. So I said all of these pages are in sections. So each of the sections you want to work on, you can see the by is by their name. So acing the interview process, building your portfolio, exploring tech careers, introduction, job searching and applications. All of these sections are here, and you can just like get each of the content in this section. You can see them. So you can see everything is in MDX. They're just like tests, and it does some of this H ed one. This one is high level. This one is H2. This one is H2 also. And also we have this table. I think this is the most tricky MDX that we have here. And then I'm going to explain how we work with this table for instance, and then we can go, especially for the resources section is what I've just added. But every other thing here you can edit is just MDX. So just follow like the markdown syntax and it should be fine. Like you can do anything you can do in test, you can do here. So the table is and just something that is different. And then if you want to add a new section, that is a different thing entirely. So maybe we have a new section, you can create a folder and then create this method.json that highlights each of this section. You know, why, I demand, interest. You can see that this section introduction have three subsections, and the meta underscore JSON actually uh, point out all of these subsection and the name they should be called and everything. And if you look at other ones also, you can this have a lot of subsections. And if you go to the meta, you can see they have the name. This is translated to the URL, and this that translates to the title of the section itself. So let's see if this thing have loaded now. Yeah, it's loaded now, which is really great. So you can see we have introduction. We have three sections under introduction. You can just ignore this. Sometimes it comes off on during development, but it's fine. So you can see getting started. We have all of the content here. Uh, why choose a tech career? If I click on this now and see this page, we load. So we have all of this section here, and we have new section like this, for instance, resources. What we want to do with this resources is that if this section, if there's external resources that we need to add for people to read more or gain more insight about a particular section, then we add those resources here. So this is like a boilerplate template that we can change. So and then you can put the cost. Like if the resources is free, let them know that it's free. If it's a paid resources, let them know it's paid. So the name of the resources and the link, and you can put like a description about what the resources is all about, and then the cost that in instance. So which is really really great, and we can have as many resources as possible. So let's go to the introduction, exploring tech careers, for instance. So, and then we go to software development. Yeah, you can see that we have all of the roles, we still have resources here. We have like web and app design, for instance. Uh, you can see all of those things about web and stuff. You can see this. So let's update, for instance, let's say software development. And then update the resources. But before we do that, let's go back to the code and do it the right way. So the first thing we are going to do is I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to create a branch. So I'm going to say this branch, git checkout, sorry, and the branch, and then I'm going to name this branch add resource to uh, web something. So it's web page, right? I'll just check out this, and you can see that you can change the add resource to web. So I'm working on that directory on that branch right now. So for every changes you want to make sure you create a PR. A PR is like create a branch and make a pull request to the stuff. You see how I'm going to do that now. So let's go to the web and app development, for instance. And then on the resources, this is how it works. So this is the markdown that creates resources. So to create it, I'll just do that a resource name, the URL, and stuff. So let me just go to a resource that I think is really cool for web development. For web, let's go to Free Code Camp, for instance, which is really amazing for web, especially for people that are getting started with web. So uh, and then we could go to this gets let's get started here and go to learn, and then we have this course here. It's called uh, responsive web design something. So let me see how we could actually copy this. Is it copyable? Okay, I'll just copy the link. Copy link address. So I just responsive web design certification. So that's the name. So I'll just copy this link and then I will put it there. And then I'll say responsive web design certification, right? Certification. So some stuff there. Just good. So and then this is free, and if there's a about this, I can just yeah, this is really great. So let's go here. So you can see you can actually responsive web design, and we could just copy this, and I think let me just use this one, which is great. So let's have this like that. And then for in this responsive web design, you will learn the languages that developers use to build web pages, blah 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 blah. So that's like the introduction, right? So we can copy this also, like about these resources, and then we put it there. So and that's all. We can just save this now, and then you can see we have made that change, and it formats automatically for us, which I think is great. So and then we can say git status. You can see that we've make it git. We can say git add, git commit these changes. When I say no, just say added a resource, right? Added a resource, and then we can say git push. So needless to say git push, because you are pushing for the first time, it's going to tell you that you need to set an upstream. So which you can do set an upstream, and then it will create a pull request immediately. So when we go there, we can let's go to Tech Clarity Coach. On GitHub, you can see pull requests have been created, and I can just click on this uh, pull request. I can create this and say this pull request. I want to merge it to the main, and I added the result. That's what I do. You can put all that information here, but I don't think it's really necessary for now. So because it's basically changing text and stuff. What happened to that? My computer is really acting up. Yeah, because it's clicking what I'm not clicking really. Okay, so we can then do create pull request. Yeah, and that's it. And the interesting thing is that it's going to do automatic deployment, and it's going to check that everything is fine that you did, and then it's going to create this uh, preview for you. I think it should create a preview. I'm not sure it should create a preview. So, but you be able to like see that everything worked fine and stuff like that. And then you will need this because I'm saying this merge pull request because I'm an admin, so I can merge it directly. But normally you need a review to be able to get your work merged by me or any of the contributors here. So and that's it. And when you're done, you can get feedback for what you've added and stuff like that, which I think is really really great. So it's good to make a change and make a PR for that change. Like don't make too many changes at the same time and then create on the PR. So make a solid change. Maybe you work on this file, work there, and then make that PR. So another thing you can do also that we talked about, which I think is great. So the other thing we do is if you look at here, we have this heroes page, which is great. So this heroes page is just a component that is loaded, right? And this component load all of those stuff. So if you want to add a new hero, for instance, what you need to do is just go to this data that have these heroes. You know, we have all of these heroes, which are amazing. So let's say, for instance, I had another hero. Let me add myself even. So to add an hero is relatively simple. So you could just copy and paste like that and just change all of these things. Peter in. Uh, so what about me? I'm not sure. So Andrew is like the Peter INE DP. So I think it's right. Yeah. So and then that the IN uh, and then I can have I change the world by helping people get started in tech and social entrepreneur. I think spelling is harder than coding entrepreneurship. So I'm not sure if that is correct or not, but I can always change that. And then we can have the images. So to add images to this, we have this. You could go to this. Adding images easy. You know, we have assets. That's where, and we have heroes. That's where all of the images are. So what you could do is get an image. I go to my file here. So that's great. So I will go back to here and I'll just pick this image and just put it in here. And then I can change this image, rename it to be Peter INE. So and then when I go here, I can just do Peter.INE and save it. And what I would like to do is just git add git commit and I would say added Peter to heroes, right? And then now because we make a PR already, we can just push this and then it will be done. So and when you finish that, you're done. You can always do other contribution and stuff. And when we are ready, we could just like you go to the PR you created, and what we want to do is just review it anyway. So you can see we added the resource. Like I told you that we can have this preview, and you can just see what you've done. So for every push you make, you're going to get a new preview. So if I created, check this now, we'll see exactly what we added, and you can see the changes that you added and how it's going to look like in production. So what we added actually is something to the web and app development, I think. We added these resources. So let's see if they're deployed. And then if we go there, so you can see that now that we have these, we have this, and then that. How cool is that? So let's go back. Um, Sorry about that. So yeah, okay, yeah, we could just go back to the stuff and look at the PR again. Okay, so if I look at the pull request, you know, if the pull request is still open, and if I go there, I'll see PR add the results by myself, and yeah, like everything looked good. And if I open the PR, so all of this you don't need to do it. Just open a PR and then we review, and then I'm going to merge that PR to what you're doing. So the internet is closed now, but I'm going to merge this later on. So yeah, so that's it. If you have like any questions, post in the group, and then on Facebook group or on Discord. In any ways that you can reach the team, or even you can open your Git issues and see how you can actually contribute to this project. It's easy. We want a lot of people to contribute. Like it could be like a good way for you to do something on open source and spice up your GitHub account, which I think is really, really great. And this is what this is all about, is to bring people together to be able to help other people to learn tech and to share ideas. So which I think is great. Thank you very much for being part of this, and see you later.